Hi, Ray.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Great.
For those who don't know, this is Ray Nutt. He is CEO of Fathom Events. Welcome.
Thank you.
This is our annual conversation here at CinemaCon, where we talk about the industry and Fathom Events and all the good things that are coming up. So let's get started. First of all, I noticed that there was a certain change to your logo.
Yes, we're celebrating I'm glad you noticed that. You're one of the few that have. It's our 20th anniversary that we're celebrating this year, and we've come a long way in 20 years. So thank you for noticing that.
Oh, anytime. I thought it was great, and I knew I had to ask you about it. So, in 20 years, I know you haven't been with Fathom that long, but what changes have you seen? What's next coming up for you?
Oh, I think event cinema used to be called alternative content way back in the day, and it was really based on a Monday through Thursday business, and now it's evolved to where it's not only event cinema, but we're taking it a step further, which we're a specialty distributor now. So we'll do 1 or 2 night events, but we'll also do limited engagements that run for a week or 2 weeks and that type of thing. We've had a lot of success with that. We had 4 of them that we did in 2023, and that was a record year for us. We did $100 million last year, so that was a big milestone. And this year, we're planning on probably doing at least 8 limited engagements as well. So we're transitioning the company to be we're the eighth largest distributor of movie theater or movies in North America right now, and growing. So things are going good.
So, when you get something like a banner year, such as last year, and then the board comes in and says, okay, we want X number this year, how much pressure does that put on you?
That's the price you pay for having a good year. You know it too well. So, actually, in all seriousness, my board has been very, very patient, and we talked a lot about when you have this breakout year, what does the next year look like? You can't continue to have that hockey. Well, you hope you can have that hockey stick, but on the other hand, so this year we're viewing as kind of a year to figure out where the company is going after that breakout year. And I have to tell you, the first quarter this year has started off just like we ended last year. We did $43 million in the first quarter of this year and $18 million in the first quarter of 2023. So a very nice year over year increase. But don't tell my board that.
We won't say anything. Don't worry. What do you attribute to the success from last year?
Well, I think becoming a specialty distributor was a big thing. You look at the 4 films that we did last year in the specialty distribution business. One is we did Waitress the musical, which was fantastic. We did The Blind, which was our highest single film ever, which did almost 17 million. We were planning on running that for a week, and it actually ran for 6 weeks. So a lot of it was that, as you've seen here at the show, we have a slogan this year. We're innovative and creative, and our team has just done a spectacular job. I can't say enough for the people who do this. They live it, 24/7, 365, and they do such a good job with it. So, and I have to give credit to not only our content providers who have confidence in us to distribute their content, but the exhibitors who have the confidence, not just our owners, AMC, Regal, and Cinemark, but all the others that have all the confidence in the world for us to distribute our content to them. So.
Is it harder to get smaller theaters to take your content?
Well, it's a really good question because we had a model before that you used to have our network in the theaters, our satellite network in the theaters for us to distribute the content there, and that capital cost was on the exhibitors. And coming out of the pandemic, although it's not a lot of money to put the satellite network in there, it was on them, and they didn't have the money. Most of them didn't, and so we came out with a program called DCP only, which means if you have a digital projector and we're distributing this content via DCP, we will get that content to your theater. So we added hundreds of smaller theater operators to our network this past year, and they're enjoying the content. I've talked to so many of them here at the show that are really enjoying the content and enjoying the revenue, obviously, that it produces as well.
That's fantastic, and it seems like a collaboration coming out of COVID to make everybody profitable again. Yeah, absolutely. All right. I need to discuss with you the collaboration with Warner Brothers and the Christopher Reeve documentary. Tell me how that came about. Tell me about it. I know you've seen the documentary.
The doc is spectacular. It's Superman, the Christopher Reeve story is the name of it, and I did screen it, and it is very, very powerful. It is narrated by Christopher Reeve, much of it, and his family's in it as well as kids and so forth, and just a testimonial to the type of person he was, and how he overcame something that most of us can't even begin to imagine. And so how it became, our Warner is a great partner of ours, and we've done a couple of other documentaries. You'll probably remember "They Shall Not Grow Old," the Peter Jackson documentary that we did with them, which did very well. We did Navalny with Warner Brothers and CNN Films a couple years ago, and Navalny went on to win the Academy Award for documentary. So we're hopeful that this will do well in September for us, and I think people will find it very powerful. A lot of stars in it. Robin Williams was one of his best friends in it. Bring your Kleenex. It's there's parts of it that are sad, but there are parts of it that are extremely uplifting as well. So we're very proud to be partnering with Warner on this, and I think audiences are really going to find this very satisfying.
We did see a little bit of the footage yesterday at their presentation, and I do have to say it was very powerful, even the tiny bit that we saw. So I really cannot wait to see it. Let's talk a little bit about anime because I know that's been a big draw for you guys, and we were speaking. Crunchyroll actually did a presentation this year and kind of told us a little bit more about anime. So, what does that bring to Fathom for you?
So every year we participate with G Kids, and it's a Ghibli Fest that we do. And we did 11 titles last year, and these fans just keep coming back. I mean, Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, some of the bigger titles. And what we did differently last year that was so successful is we took the same titles and we packaged them from a marketing standpoint a little bit differently. And we ran some of the more popular titles like Spirit and Howls. We ran those for 5 days versus a couple of days, dubbed and subbed again. But what was interesting about that, the different way that we packaged them resulted in 142% year over year increase for those same exact titles that we did in previous years. So we're finding new ways to continue to bring this existing audience in, but also bring additional audiences in for this content. Anime is a very important category for us.
Yeah, I never realized how big anime was, and it's just growing and growing continually. Do you find, or do you have any data as to whether the people coming to the cinema for anime prefer dubbed or subbed, or are they seeing both?
They're seeing both, but I would tell you that subbed tends to be a little bit more popular, so we'll schedule those on a day that's maybe a little easier for people to get to the movie theater. And it does depend on the film as well. There's certain films that will do better dubbed and others that do better subbed, so it's kind of all over the place. It's a interesting space to try to figure out from a distributor standpoint and then communicate to exhibitors that this is what you can expect in your theaters. Mhm.
Yeah, and I don't think that just sorry, theater owners really anticipated how big anime would be when it first started coming to them, and now it's become an annual event, it seems like.
It has, and we're doing Ghibli Fest again this year, so hopefully we'll get another 142% increase. I doubt it'll be that big, but we'll see some really good audiences in theaters this year.
I will keep my fingers crossed for you. The Chosen. Every so often we get a couple episodes. Tell me a little bit about how that came about, how you continue to do it, how is it performing for you?
So The Chosen started coming out of the pandemic. Just historically looking back, we had a relationship with them dating back probably a couple years prior to the pandemic. So we've been talking to them a while. And Dallas Jenkins, who's the creator, writer, and director of it, is just spectacular. He does a wonderful job of telling the stories. And so coming out of the pandemic, we did a Christmas program called the Messengers, and it did very, very well. People were ready to get out of the house and gather communally back in movie theaters. And then, we did another Christmas special with them, and then we did season three, episodes 1 and 2, and episodes 7 and 8. So we sort of bookended the whole series. And then we said, let's do something that's never ever been done before in theaters, not just with the chosen or faith-based content, but anybody. And this is television content. We decided to do season 4, all 8 episodes. So we did 1 through 3, 4 through 6, and then 7 and 8, and we did those each for approximately 2 weeks. And it was very interesting what we saw, that people, were dedicating a lot of their time to see this. They were gathering communally, they were celebrating, and we ended up with the whole series doing about $32 million on it. So it was very successful, a very great franchise. And in fact, they're starting to film season 5 right now, and we're very hopeful that maybe you'll see that in theaters again.
I hope so too. What can you tell us about what's coming up for you? Can you give us any sneak peeks?
You may recall we did Coraline, a stop action animated picture last year. We did it on a Monday and Tuesday, and it did $5 million. We did it on 2 weeks later, another Monday, Tuesday, did another $2 million. So people really like coming out to see that. But this year is the 15th anniversary of it, and something that we'll be announcing a little bit later is that it has been remastered in 3D. So we will be bringing it back to theaters in 3D this year, which is awesome.
That sounds great. Oh, I want to see that in 3D. Put it on our calendar. Anyway, right. It is always a pleasure to speak to you. I love talking to you about the industry, about Fathom Events, and all the great things that you're doing. And I wish you continued success